Hello, viewers. Welcome back to another episode of my show. In today's show, I have Miss Vindhya Hegde with here again. Welcome, Vindhya Hegde.
Thank you,
So,
Dr. Kodbagi.
in our previous episode, you had given us extremely important tips and shared your valuable experience on getting higher studies in United States of America. But we had left a few loose ends, and I have you here today in my show to tie those loose ends. So, in previous episode, we had clearly mentioned that there are a few steps that any immigrant student needs to follow to have a legal job status in the country. But we still had to go back and address what are those legal steps and procedures that need to be meticulously followed by the students so that they do not get into trouble while they are still trying to get a job in the United States of America. So with that, I would like to again welcome Miss Vindhya Hegde, and I want to thank you again for sharing your experience and giving your valuable time for the show.
Thank you, Dr. Kodbagi. It's a pleasure to be on your show again.
Sure, and I would like to have you again and again on the show, no problem. So, okay, without taking much time of the viewers, I would like to go ahead and start with my first question. So, what is the requirement for any immigrant student to stay legal and get a job in the United States? Because when the students come to United States as for any higher education, they are on F1 visa, and that F1 visa does not allow you to work for any employer. So could you please put light on what are the ways that you are still legal, and there is some time before the employer can apply for your employee visa, that is the H-1B visa. So could you please go ahead and tell us what are those ways?
Yes. So as you mentioned, the students are on F1 visa, and it does not give to work completely in United States. But having said that, in your previous show, as we mentioned about STEM and non-STEM, so that comes into the picture right now. Regardless of STEM and non-STEM, the first year, every F1 student after graduation can work on F1 visa. And the way to be in status and work in F1 visa for any employer is OPT, that is optional practical training. This is the right of every student and a choice that they can use if they want to continue working in the United States. So students can legally work in optional practical training for 1 year, mandatory. Or not, that's upon them, like for the choice, but they can work in OPT. So the ideal thing to go about is before graduation, and with like around the time frame of 3 months before graduation, students can apply to optional practical training, and then it would take some time to get their employment authorization document, that is EAD card, and then they can work for full-time jobs in US. So OPT is the final thing to go about with F1 students.
Before they get a visa from the employer.
Yes, before that they get a visa from the employers. This is only for the first year. So this is, I'm talking about regardless of STEM and non-STEM. And non-STEM, of course, has just 1 year. And STEM, of course, has 1 + 2 years that we discussed in your show earlier.
Perfect. So could you please go ahead and tell us what is the difference between the CPT and OPT?
Yes. So CPT is curricular practical training. Students can work during their ongoing semesters or ongoing as a full-time student. There are many complexities related to CPT because you have to stay in status, and there are many rules and regulations regarding this. So as I mentioned in your previous show as well, please get to the international student office. That's the main source where you can get all the information on CPT. So it is very important for a student to be in status. That's how you can go forward here. So the internationals office will tell you what is the time frame of CPT that you can work on, what are the rules associated with CPT, and how you can stay in status while a full-time students and working for any employer. Also, CPTs can be used full-time during summers for internships. That's when CPT comes into picture. So CPT you can do even while you are studying. OPT is only after you graduate. So that is the main difference between the two. The rules of OPT is kind of simple, when compared to CPT. So this is the main difference. So OPT only after graduation, and CPT while you're working, you can, sorry, while you're studying, you can work with the employer.
Thank you very much for the clarification. So students who are trying to seek jobs, please make sure that you are aware of all the complexities involved when they're applying for a CPT and trying to work for an employer while still as a student. So thank you very much again for clarifying this bit by bit. So again, we already talked that the students need to apply for are the people who apply for CPT OPT, but are there any other people who can apply for the CPT and OPT?
No. So only F1 students can apply for OPT and CPT. There are no other visas which is associated with this, and only students who are holding F1 visa can have these privileges. So having said that, so when applying for OPT, uh, one thing needs to be sure that the window of OPT will only start in February if you're graduating in May. So that's a 3 months window.
90-day
But
window.
yeah, 90 days before. So ideally before graduation, 90 days before graduation. But if you do not apply before graduation, you only have 60 days prior to your graduation to apply for OPT and to be staying in status. So it's very important the students know the proper deadlines while applying for OPT.
So 60 days after they graduate.
Yes, so let's say example, you're graduating May 1st, 2021. So you have till July 1st, 2021 to apply for OPT if you haven't applied prior. And the window starts from Feb 2nd, 2021. So 3 months prior to your graduation date.
That sounds good. But do you have any no, do you have any choice, or do you think what would be a better time to apply for the OPT? Will it be before graduating within that 90-day time frame, or after graduation? Are there situations that the students can choose and follow accordingly?
Ideally, 3 months before the graduation is the best time to apply for OPT. And only if the circumstances are extreme, then after graduation, applying for OPT is recommended. But ideally, it is 3 months before the graduation date. This is also because the USCIS, who's responsible for issuing the employment authorization document, would take ideally any time between 60 to 90 days after a person applies for OPD. So if you apply after graduation, the pool of candidates who have applied would be a lot. So processing would take much longer than if you plan ahead and got your EAD. Because once you get your EAD card, you can join employer without waiting for them. Let's say if they want to offer you tomorrow, you can join tomorrow. But if you do not have that card, you're not authorized to join them until you get that card. So ideal time would be, 3 months before the graduation, not after graduation is recommended.
All right. So my question uh, is there so a student has a circumstance where he or she does not have a job even until the date of
Right.
graduation, and so they are hesitant to go ahead and apply for the EAD or the OPT because they might think that the OPT time might just kick in as soon as they graduate, and that might lead them to having short of time if they are trying to look for jobs.
Correct.
So how do we manage such circumstances?
So I would like to advise the students that no matter you have a job or not, apply for OPT and EAD card, because that's what will get you inside the job market. But if the student does not have a job, even when the OPT period starts, there is a way you can stop your unemployment days. That is when the OPT ideally starts, the unemployment days would start ticking. That is 60 days or 90 days after the graduation, or whenever the EAD card mentions your employment day as day one. So one thing and the best thing to stop about this is volunteering for a research or for any other work in your university with your professor. That's an ideal way to go about. And mostly this has to be unpaid. You cannot go paid, because once you go paid, there are other variants and variables which comes in. But if you go for unpaid volunteering research or any other job in your university, then the unemployment days would stop, and you can use this period while working with your professor or your university to apply for full-time jobs. So this would stress level would decrease a lot, in the job seeker's life, and you would not even go out of status. But having said that, it's very important again to know all the dates which is mentioned in your volunteering period as well. If you are volunteering just for 1 month, in the letter, then after 1 month, then unemployment days would start counting. So it's very important the student knows that the period in the volunteering letter that needs to go in to be in status and also work and search for jobs. So volunteering is one of the ways to stop your unemployment days. Not many people know this, but this is a very good way to lessen your stress and seek for job if you haven't got a job already.
All right, but one question regarding the volunteering. As you said, if that volunteering is definitely going to be for a limited time, is there a way that you can extend that time with a mutual understanding with the professor so that you don't go out of status and still can keep looking for jobs?
Yes. For STEM, it is 3 years. So you can coordinate with your professor and extend up to 3 years of your time. But for non-STEM, it's just 1 year. So ideally, till your visa is valid, till your OPT is valid, until your STEM is valid, you can have this volunteer work in the United States and still be in status, look for jobs and work with the professor as well. So the rules remains the same. It's just the dynamics of the pay comes into the picture, which I am sure, it's an understanding between the
Yeah.
student and the professor.
Yeah.
So that's a different ball game altogether.
Perfect. Thank you very much for educating all of us through this procedure. I'm sure that with these pointers and with these tips, all the students will educate themselves and try to be aware of what they need to do within that timeline and how to approach and plan their job seeking time. So with that, I would like to thank you again for helping me and helping all the job seekers who have already are in the process of getting higher studies in United States or already admitted in different universities in United States. So with that, I would like to thank you again. And it was definitely a great pleasure to have you on my show for these 2 episodes. Thank you for that. And I would like to go ahead and work with you again for such important videos.
Thank you so much, Dr. Potbagi. It's very important that incoming students have to see such shows and get educated. And you're doing an awesome job. I look forward to doing again this with you always.
Thank you very much. You have a good one.
Good day.